Hello there. I am Shaun McLaren with another great video right here on StarCityGames.com. Here today we have the hot new combo in Modern, which is Devoted Druid plus Vizier of Remedies. You've probably seen it in Abzan Company shells called Counters Company, which is one of the worst names for a deck ever, I feel, but it is what it is. Today we're going to try it in just a straight up green-white shell and see how the deck does. I tried to distill the deck down to its essence, and we're going to test it from there. So the basic combo is you play Devoted Druid and then play Vizier of Remedies. If your Devoted Druid doesn't have Summoning Sickness, you're able to tap it for mana and then untap it. Normally that would put a -1/-1 counter on Devoted Druid. Of course, if you have Vizier of Remedies, that doesn't happen, so you're just able to tap and untap it for mana until you have infinite green mana, or as much as you want. And then with that infinite green mana, probably the best thing you can do is play Duskwatch Recruiter and then activate Duskwatch Recruiter as many times as you want to go through your deck and search for a way to win that is a creature. In this case, we'll be searching for Walking Ballista, making an arbitrarily large Walking Ballista and then shooting our opponent in the face with it. So yeah, that's the basic premise. There are other ways you can win the game. For example, Ronus, the Indomitable God Fellow, he pumps up your Devoted Druid and then you attack with the giant trampling Devoted Druid. I like Walking Ballista. It is a good card, well, not a good card, a medium card when you just happen to draw it. And I feel like right now the deck only needs one win condition. Like, some decks play a Walking Ballista and a Ronus, but you can just Eternal Witness back the Walking Ballista if it happens to die. So, or in the Reclamation Sage, a Pithy Needle if they Pithy Needle Walking Ballista. So that we'll see if that comes back to bite us, but I feel like just having the one Walking Ballista should be enough to start with. Ronus is actually much better to hit with Collected Company, though, which is a plus for it, but I think the Walking Ballista is overall just better in theory. Of course, I haven't done much testing, which is why we're doing this video. So Duskwatch Recruiter is actually part of the combo, but it's also just a very good card in this deck. I feel like it's possible the deck just runs 4 in the future, because first of all, it's the way you win when you have infinite mana. It's possible you just don't win when you assemble your combo and you have nothing to do, but you always win if you have Duskwatch Recruiter. I suppose your opponent is probably Pithy Needling Duskwatch Recruiter a lot of the time as well, rather than Walking Ballista. I guess we'll find out all these things as we go along. So Scavenging Ooze is sort of a tutor effect for Court of Calling to hit the graveyard. We've got all our 1-drop bird effects to add mana and ramp us out into good stuff. The mana base is pretty straightforward, just white and green. I like Horizon Canopy a lot. It can punish you in a lot of games if you draw multiple Horizon Canopies and not a lot of other mana. But considering this deck has so many mana sources, I think it's good to convert some of our lands into card draw. And if you do happen to get infinite mana, it's easy to just crack your Horizon Canopies to try and find a way to instantly win the game. E-Witness is just one of the best cards with Collected Company. Hitting it off Collected Company is always amazing, since you can just rebuy the Collected Company. You can also rebuy any part of your combo that your opponent previously killed off. So it's kind of like redundancy. Renegade Rallier actually returns both halves of, well, pretty much all three halves of the combo directly into play, which is pretty good. Gets Duskwatch Recruiter, Devoted Druid, or Vizier of Remedies, and you can hit it off Collected Company. Reclamation Sage, just a good Court of Calling target or a way to disrupt Pithy Needle. So Collected Company is just the best. It can hit all three halves of your combo. Hits pretty much all the creatures in your deck, except doesn't do a whole lot with Walking Ballista. Although you can hit Walking Ballista off Collected Company and then rebuy it with Eternal Witness to win the game. So there is that. Same goes with Court of Calling. You can Court of Calling for Ballista and then return it with Witness if you have infinite mana. Or just Court of Calling for Duskwatch Recruiter. But if your opponent has Pithy Needled your Duskwatch Recruiter, there's lots of things you can do. So Court of Calling, mostly a way to tutor up any of the three halves of your combo. Yeah, but it can also hit silver bullets. So, and furthermore, in conclusion, also trying out Eldritch Evolution, which of course is sort of the 9th and 10th copies of Collected Company and Court of Calling. Being able to sack a Birds or a Noble Hierarch into any of these things is pretty good. So we're just trying to assemble our combo very quickly and combo off, and then if that doesn't work, we're just gonna try and get value with our Eternal Witnesses and Renegade Ralliers until we combo off. So that's the main deck. Sideboard, we have a whole bunch of one-ofs since we kind of have a toolbox type deck. Selfless Spirit, mostly for against Wrath effects. Being able to chord into Selfless Spirit is a good little sneaky trick. Kataki for Affinity or Lantern. Scavenging Ooze against the graveyard decks. It's nice to have a lot of Scavenging Ooze because it's not only is it great against value decks, it's also like a powerful mid-range card that can just run over a game. If opponent has been removing all your stuff, you just play Scavenging Ooze and it's gigantic, and also can gain life against like burn decks, which is relevant. Kitchen Finks. Normally this deck runs Kitchen Finks and a Sacrifice Outlet to combo off with Vizier, since the persisting Kitchen Finks doesn't get a counter and can just be sacrificed to gain you infinite life. Again, I'm just focusing on the infinite mana combo, so we're kind of ignoring Kitchen Finks, but still a good sideboard card. Tireless Tracker, value card. Reclamation Sage is good in a bunch of matchups and good redundancy for being able to deal with Pithy Needle. Fiend Hunter for creatures. Eidolon against storm decks, Living End decks, that sort of thing. Linvala mostly for the mirror, any sort of creature decks with creatures that do things, like it shuts off Birds of Paradise and Noble Hierarch and Devoted Druid, which is very good, and Duskwatch Recruiter and Walking Ballista. So yeah, very good in the mirror. And then we have some removal effects in the form of 3 Path to Exiles for just taking out creatures, and Engineered Explosives, which is sort of multi-purpose, can get wide boards or deal with cheaper problem permanents, and we can cast it for more than 2 with Birds and Noble Hierarch, so good card in general, even though it sometimes blows up our own stuff. Just a very powerful card. Alright, that's the deck. Let us try it out now, and Don't forget to check out Star City Games' YouTube page if you want to watch more sweet matches of Magic. Alright, let's play.